Hello. Thank you for joining us for another segment of Unlearn How You Earn. I'm your host today, Daryl Mickens, in for John Melvin. And today we have a very special segment for you. Today we're going to talk about credit restoration and the importance and what that means to you. Today we have with us Ms. Latrice Badola, who is a consultant at Another Beginning Incorporated right here in Las Vegas. Latrice, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
All right. Okay, so you do credit restoration.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Credit restoration is basically restoring your credit after you've had some issues. And if we're all human, we've all had some issues with our credit.
Okay. Okay.
And we are there to help you through that path of rebuilding your credit, reestablishing your credit, or if you have no credit, we help you build credit.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Now, as you said, many of us have had issues in the past. Some of us don't want to admit it, but really when you look under the hood, we've all had some issues in the past. So do you make those things that are negative on our credit report go away, or do we make excuses for them so that they're looked upon a little differently? How does that work?
Well, basically, consumers are all protected by certain laws.
Okay.
Credit laws. There's the FTC, there's the CFPB, and then there is also the Fair Debt Credit Reporting Act. They have to stay within those guidelines and those stipulations. So, and then there's also the HIPAA Act of 1996.
Okay.
So
I thought that was medical.
That is medical, and they also have to stay in the guidelines of reporting accurately as well.
Okay.
If you go to the hospital for two things twice, so let's say you had pneumonia, you went on the 3rd of February. Your pneumonia did not cure, but they gave you medication to go home, amoxicillin or something like that.
Okay.
You go back to the hospital on the 8th,
Yeah.
it's the same condition. They cannot report that twice.
Really?
Exactly.
And you're saying it's the same way with the credit bureaus?
Exactly. With the credit bureaus, they cannot report it twice. And sometimes when you come in to have your credit repaired or, want to look at where you need to start, it's some inaccuracies there that should have fallen off because there's a statute of limitations for everything in your credit bureau.
Really?
Yes, some people have things that carry on from when they graduated from high school, age 20 till age 30, not knowing they're walking around with a low credit score due to the credit reporters and the bureaus are not reporting accurately.
Okay. So now let's say that I'm a consumer, right? I walk into your office off the street, and maybe I'm preparing for a major life event. Let's say I'm going to buy a home, right? But I know before I even go to the lenders that there's something that's going to have a negative impact on me, getting approved for this loan. So I come down to see you, all right? How do you take me through? What's the first thing that we do?
Well, the first thing we do, we'll sit here and we'll talk and say, hey, okay, so what are your concerns on your credit? Well, I don't really know. I think I may have maybe 10 inquiries and things like that. So we'll run your credit score. We'll tell you which systems we use. A lot of people use Credit Karma, and we can still go in and look at your Credit Karma if that's what you prefer, or freecreditscore.com.
Okay.
But there are other websites you can go to, such as Privacy Guard, and also there is ScoreSense, and then there's also Credit Check Total. They're more accurate to the credit bureau's reporting, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So we'll pull your credit right there in the office. We'll review it together. And I'll ask you, do you remember going to this car dealership? Or do you remember going to this car dealership? It actually will show us how many times that car dealership has ran your credit.
Okay.
And they're only supposed to hit you, one time, but sometimes they shop you around.
Sure.
So sometimes you'll get 10 inquiries. Is that fair to you as the consumer, not knowing that they didn't advise you that you're going to be hit for 2 points to 6 points each inquiry?
Yeah, but what can you do about that, right? If you want to buy a car, they're going to have to run your credit.
Right, or if you want to buy a house, they're going to shop you 10 times.
10 times?
That's like 10 to 5 times the minimum.
Really?
Seriously,
Okay.
for home.
But let me ask you this now, because most of the tools that you were just mentioning there, they're open to the public, right?
Yes,
so why don't I look those up on my own? Why do I need a professional like you?
You can look it up on your own, and if you want to print it out and bring it in to us, that's fine. But if you don't understand how the credit bureaus are reporting your credit, what are you going to do? You're going to ask someone. If you have a cough, where are you going to go?
To the doctor.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if you don't know how to read your credit, you don't know how to fight the inaccuracies, you don't even know what the inaccuracies are.
Okay.
We are trained to know what those inaccuracies are. Now, you get a lot of credit companies out there that send out letters, and that's what they do. But you come into our office, you'll hear us yelling at someone, so don't run away. That means we're fighting on your behalf.
You're fighting for me. Okay.
Exactly, but we're fighting to protect your rights as a consumer and making the credit bureau stand up and be accurate in their reporting because it's hurting the consumer.
Why is consumer debt such a big issue in today's society?
Taxes have gone up, families are bigger, society wants more. You know, I like Louis Vuitton bags and everything. I'm not even
People
gonna lie,
like
I do,
nice
you know?
things.
And we have kids, you know,
Okay.
so we're buying more, we're
Sure.
spending more, and more consumers are living paycheck to paycheck, credit card to credit card, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Exactly.
So the debt gets exploded, and then you don't know how to handle it. So we also help you, show you how to manage your debt.
Okay, outstanding. So a lot of young people that I know get out of school, and once they're getting out of school, they've already amassed a huge amount of debt,
Yes.
just coming out of school, and you know they may not be able to get a job right away.
Right.
What would be your advice to someone who has a large amount of student debt?
I would say go ahead and see where all your student loans are placed once you graduate. You should know that within 30 to 45 days of graduating from school, because they're going to send you the mails and say, hey, your payment is due 5 months from now and this is the amount. You know, so you want to manage your student loans, and you want to give us a call, because there's so many other programs out there we can help you with. There's the ICR program, there is the Obamacare program.
Okay.
There are so many other programs if you work in that city, for the state, for the city, that we can help you, teachers, nurses, and everything like that.
Wow.
But a lot of people don't know that. I mean,
That's
once they get out
outstanding.
of school, can't find a job, what happens? Depression. And then debt adds stress.
Wow.
And then your credit suffers.
So-
So you're being affected mentally, physically, and emotionally.
That is huge.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, knowledge is power, and I really appreciate what you're telling us here today. Let me ask you a question, though. I can see how another beginning can help me as a
Right.
personal consumer.
Mhm.
But what if I wanted to come over as a business owner?
I like
right?
the way you think.
Yeah. What would you do for a business owner?
For a business owner, we would go ahead and guide you down the right path. First, we want to know what your aspirations are. What are your dreams? What are your hopes? What do you want to accomplish? Basically, do you want an LLC? We'll let you know and explain to you what an LLC represents. Or do you want a corporation? And we'll let you know what that corporation represents. Tax purposes, or if you're a sole proprietor, why? You should change it up a little bit. And we guide you through that path, what paperwork to fill out.
Wow.
Or if you're working a job and you're just starting your dream, you're starting your corporation, we can do all that paperwork for you.
Outstanding.
Yes.
So you actually go to the foundational level and
Yes.
even help structure
Yes.
your business entity to
Yes.
begin with.
Mhm.
And then you build upon that.
Yes, we can help you build your business credit, because you want to keep your business credit separate from your personal credit.
Why is that?
Because business reports to also the same 3 credit bureaus, but on a business aspect.
Okay.
And you can have a stronger business score than your personal score. While you're repairing your personal, get your business started. And we show you how to build that paydex score, which is like for personal 800,
Yes.
but 80 paydex score on the business side is like an 800 as well.
Really?
So we give you the stepping stones to build that up.
Outstanding.
And how to do it correctly, how to avoid tax issues as well.
So anybody that's out there who is thinking about starting a new business, anybody that's out there who already has a new business and you're trying to generate credit or to
Right.
build the credit of that business, they need to talk to somebody like you
Yes.
who's a professional in this arena.
Yes, and it's 3 consultants in that office.
Okay.
But let me say this.
Mhm.
You did not ruin your credit in 30 days. So when you walk in our office, do not expect us to do miracles.
Okay.
Because we're going to talk, we're going to have some conversations.
Sure.
And we're going to say, hey, how did you get into this debt? How did you get into this mess? And we're here to clean it up for you, but you have to be cooperative. We both have to work at it.
That's
It
outstanding.
can be one-sided. We're going to call you for your mail. We're going to call you and say, hey, has anything happened? Has anything changed?
Sure.
And we have some that come in, sign up, and then they go through a bad patch. And they have evictions or they have repossessions. So we want to help them manage the debt, set up a payment plan if they need to. But don't expect us to work miracles in 30 days as well. It can take anywhere from 6 months to a year, or depending if you're going to do some little things in between.
Sure.
Maybe you're a slow payer,
Yeah.
but you're repaying your credit.
Okay.
But yet you still have your job, but you're paying your credit, your card note 45 days instead of 30. They're going to report that.
Gotcha.
So we got to catch up to that loop to help you manage and restructure maybe how you do your financing. We can help you with your budgeting.
Yes.
Things like that. Things people don't want to think about because it's just so much overwhelming.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm hearing you correctly, ultimately the responsibility is on your client,
Exactly.
right? So again, you can fix someone's credit, but if their behavior is such that it's going to continue to put them in those types of situations,
Right.
it won't stick, it won't last,
It
right?
won't.
So you have to educate your clients
Yeah.
while you're helping them.
Exactly.
So say, don't go down this path again.
Exactly. It's a two-way street. We're
Yeah.
making you accountable. You came to us for help.
Sure.
We're going to help you. But are you going to follow through on your end?
Gotcha.
And then don't call back in 30 days and say, you didn't do anything. Well, it took you 2 years to ruin it.
Wow.
Now, you got to give us some time to repair it. But we
Okay.
need you to be interactive as well.
Outstanding, outstanding.
Yeah.
So how do I get in touch with Another Beginning?
Well, we're in Town Square.
Okay.
So we're at 6671 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Suite 210.
Mhm.
We're on, you can go up the third parking garage next to Staples. we're there. We're walk-in easy. You don't have to make an appointment. Just go to the front desk and say, I'm here for another beginning.
Outstanding. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. Another beginning right here in Las Vegas, here to help you restore your credit. In this day and age, it's absolutely imperative that we have our credit restored. And if you're building a business, you want to make sure that you partner with a professional who's going to be able to walk you through from the very foundational steps of how you set up your business entity to how you build credit going forward in the future. So again, Latrice, thank you for joining us today. This has been outstanding. It's been thrilling. And most of all, it's been educational.
That's what we're about. We
I
gotta
really
educate
appreciate
our
it.
community.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Thank you for joining us for this segment of Unlearn How You Earn. I have been your host, Daryl Mickens. We'll see you next time.